everybody. So we're here today to string this baby up. This is the Falcon. I'm here with Will Samurai.
Hello.
And this is quite the moment, quite the day. So, and it's 5 o'clock, right?
6 minutes still. Yeah.
Okay, so at 5 we're going to join the Minnesota Live Sing, right? Everybody sings at 5 o'clock.
Oh goodness.
Do you want to turn on the radio?
Yeah. Do you know what station it is?
That's NPR has it.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm just going to keep working here because I still have a few things to do. And this has been quite the project, and Will has been involved and observing since day one.
Mm-hmm.
He's been up here quite a bit, and I watched him play his instruments, and I've adjusted his instruments and that sort of thing, and I don't know, we just started talking about violins and what makes a good sound. And Will, what made you commission this violin?
You know, I'd say I commissioned because I was wanting to grow professionally, and I felt like I was always struggling to make an instrument work, and it wasn't until I tried your grandfather's 1946 violin, where it's just like, oh, this sounds really nice. It's really easy to play. It has a very unique tonal quality to it. And I'm like, you know what? I really like that, and I can't afford it. So it was, I believe Eric was the first one. You or Eric was the first one to suggest that maybe.
I think it was Eric. It probably was Eric.
And
my son.
It was just like, yeah, why don't we just do a commission? She can make you. He initially phrased it as kind of pretty much exactly the same thing, but when push comes to shove, Jennifer is able to do so much more and make it an instrument truly, for me, which was just wonderful. So, I mean, I've enjoyed the process so much.
And I know it took a while to figure out exactly what model to use. Will likes the way Guarneri models play.
More like they like me.
Yeah. Well, I try to figure out what model to use because the basic model depends on how it plays, how it responds, that sort of thing. What time is it? Is it 5 yet?
It's almost 5.
Almost 5. Okay, I don't want to miss it. It's only like 2 minutes.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I'll turn it on in the background quick.
Okay. So we figured out Guarneri model, and then I had him playing other various instruments, and I watched him play and figured out the kind of sound he likes, that sort of thing. And I noticed that he likes kind of a soaring tone. And I said something like, "Oh, it sounds like an eagle. It sounds like you would like an eagle."
And then my response to that was, if we're going to be talking about, if we're going to compare it to different animals, especially birds, like my favorite animal is actually a peregrine falcon, so why don't we just call it a falcon? Which the second I said that, her face lit up. And then ideas just spilled on end. And then I'll kind of let you.
Well, I had this picture of a bird soaring through the air, spinning on a dime, a nice warm sunset, mountains, and feathers on the scroll, and all kinds of stuff like that. And I thought, yes, a falcon. That's what I want to do. So then there was another trip he came up, and it was time to pick out the wood. And I had a pretty clear idea of what tone to go for. So I brought some wood down, picked out the wood, and gave Will a choice of a couple of backs, and one piece or two piece back, and then this one or this one will give you the tone that you want. And then he picked the one that he liked for looks. So there's the pegs.
I think with the back, it's just, I've been coming to Jennifer actually since I was, I think the first time I was 11 or 12 when I first visited you, when you had your shop north of downtown Minneapolis even.
So it was in Dinky Town.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I've known you for,
It's
that
been a
long,
long
and then you had your shop here, I started, coming back, and the fun part is, when I first started coming back, I feel very inspired by people who are truly passionate about their craft, and just have this, like, almost childlike, joy that comes, like, in every moment that they're doing what they do, and Jennifer has that, and so that inspired me. And I remember when I kind of first started coming up, I was just like, you know what, I should learn how to do bow rehairs, because I'm like, I think I can do that. And of course 2 years later, I can do them, but it was a pain to learn. But in the process, I also, like, at the very beginning, I'm like, maybe I can make a violin. I learned really quickly, it's like, I do not want to put the time in to learn how to do this craft. So I, through the bow rehairing and being up here a lot, seeing how she understands the instruments and how she hears the voices of the wood and how she can understand what the tone's going to be just by looking at it. It's just one of those things where she knows so much more than I could ever know, and I just trusted her implicitly with the design decisions, including choosing which wood she was going to choose for the top and the back. So that's how I kind of remember it. Just that trust, and that same thing with all of the design choices that you have made. So
Well, just last week you were up here, and we did the neck.
yes.
I fit the neck to your hand. You still need to check it. I have to stain it.
Yeah.
But I want to have the strings on before we do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be happy for that. There's one thing I've never quite understood, and it's still fascinating to me, is, when we first started, the wood was kind of like double-edged thick, and you could hold it in a way where you would tap it and you'd be able to hear this sort of a ping sound. And I still find it always fascinating how you can have an idea of how the wood is going to generally resonate just from that very first block of wood.
Yeah, you can hear that. You can hear the color of the wood. And, well, that's how I describe it. That's what I think about. That. Okay. I think of colors when I hear a sound. All right, let's see. Bridge. Oh, we missed it.
Oh,
To sing. We were supposed to sing My Little Light of Mine.
you can still sing for us.
I'm not singing.
Well, I don't know the lyrics or the melody.
My little light of mine. Okay, next. Bridge. So the nut is done, the pegs are done, and now I have to notch the bridge. And normal measurements, I think, on the width.
So you were telling me something really interesting about this this piece of wood, which
Oh, this bridge?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
this bridge. And by the way, I can't wait for you all to see this bridge. She's actually managed to follow the theme of the carvings in the bridge. So she has these little feathers on the one side, and it just looks very striking. Needless to say, we will never misplace that bridge if it ever has to come off here. Never ever. It'll be very easy to find.
The bridge is one that my dad had made when he was at Lewis's by a name named Halverson. He designed the bridges, and Halverson actually made the machines so he could make the bridges. And he had a whole, strings of them made. And those are the bridges that we use on Becker violins. And they're just a little different than the Auber model bridge, but I need the glue.
Which one?
Elmer's glue.
Where is it?
They're just a little different than the Auber bridges, but these bridges we save for Becker violins. Thank you. This is a piece of snake skin, lizard skin actually, lizard skin that I put on the E string notch so the string doesn't cut in. Pencil on the notches. Should use pencil on the notches. Every time you string an instrument up, change the strings. Every opportunity you get.
Oh, change this graphite on the notches too with new strings, huh?
Yes. Every time.
Okay. I'll especially do that with my seats.
Alright. Oh, I have to. I almost forgot. Brand it. Well, I can't believe it's been over a year that I've been working on this. We started this back in August last year. I'm glad I'm getting it done this year.
I've been having a lot of fun too, talking about the fact that this is happening on a double celestial event. Not only is it winter solstice, which is the shortest day of the year, but we also have the Jupiter and satellite convergence, which happens in a little over an hour.
Hammer?
Which one? I'll let him. He knows.
The hammer. Thank you.
That was a wee bit louder than I expected.
Sorry. And there's the bridge. Okay. Alright, and tailpiece?
Right here.
That's too long. And I like the Saucony tail guts. They stretch, but you can allow for that, and they don't break. I found that the Kevlar tail guts, the newest ones, are starting to fray right at the saddle. I just replaced another one the other day that was cutting, and it was cut halfway through. So, and they don't stay in place. They move around. They don't get a nice groove, or they change and all this kind of stuff. It's just a big thing.
So I know you're stringing up, but we were talking earlier about also there's a really special tool that you used for some of the carving of the scroll. And that was a really fascinating story.
Oh, this thing. I needed a gouge to do the work around the scroll, and I didn't have anything small enough with a small enough curve. And I found this thing, and this is actually from an old umbrella, and it's from the spines and the umbrella, the broken one. And my dad needed something to gouge out wormholes years ago. I mean, this is back in the 40s probably, and he sharpened one to a gouge. So that's what I used, and it worked great.
You know what's funny is I'm sure umbrella parts today would not be durable enough to be used as a tool like that either.
Well, we never threw anything out, you know, any metal or anything that might work. So when you make
Very
your
good.
tools so many times.
So did you use that on just the scroll, or did you use it on the tailpiece too?
I use it on everything. Yeah, the tailpiece, the bridge,
Wow.
all of that. All right. So with the making of this instrument, I was able to regulate the sound, regulate the tone, and like on the number 31, that was a little darker tone instrument, and the arching was a little bit higher in a couple places than this one. This is a Guarneri model too. And made the neck exactly to fit his hand, and height of the strings and tightness of the post. It's all with that specific tone in mind.
The E string is off to the side by the,
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I hear it starting to cry a little bit.
There we go. Let's see if I guessed right. That's too long. That's not going to be good.
So you're looking at the after length?
Yeah, that's too long.
Yeah. So one of the fun things I had a chance to learn just being here so much is every smallest detail, every single measurement about anything you can think of impacts the sound. And so what she's doing right now is she's actually changing the length of the tail gut, which is what goes around the bottom of the violin. And that's going to change the distance between the end of the tailpiece and the bridge, which alters basically an amount of, would you say the amount of ring that...
It's not exactly the ring. It's like the whole quality of the sound. The whole instrument changes, and the amount of tone that you hear under your ear is affected by that. And also, you know, I call it the backsplash, you might say. And if it's too far away, you get this aggravating ring around your head that nobody else can hear. And it's like a high-pitched whine, like an insect or something buzzing around your ear. If it's too far away, if the tailpiece is too close to the bridge, then it covers the sound, and
It makes it dark and muddy, I would say.
yeah, it covers the sound under your ear. It projects the tone, but you can't hear yourself. So you gotta get that nice medium. Perfect. Okay.
So what I think might be interesting for a lot of people to know at this point is how it sounds now is going to be very different from how it's going to sound in 30 minutes to how it's going to sound tomorrow and the next week and probably the next, maybe the next week, next month, but yeah, so the arching, which is how it's curved on the bottom, is going to take a little bit of time to stretch, which, I was really surprised to learn that the first time.
It's like putting on a new set of strings. Things take a couple of days for strings to stretch out. Well, this is like a set of strings times 10, okay? This is going to be powerful.
It's already loud. It's already loud, which is actually unusual.
Oh my God. This is going to be powerful. Oh my God.
I remember being here I was here when Erica Blanco's violin was strung up, and it was also powerful. But this one almost sounds like a normal violin already. There's a pain.
See now. Get your chin rest on here.
Yeah, I can do that if you'd like.
Yeah. Holy cow.
I like that.
All right. This is a drill my grandfather had since he was a kid. So every time I use it, I think of him. This has to go back to 1900, I imagine. So it's one of the oldest tools we have here. You nervous?
No. I'm excited. As a violin teacher, that's one thing that I learned after I started. As I was doing auditions and as I was teaching, that's one thing I learned. All nerves are adrenaline. It's just adrenaline, which is also created by excitement. So you're never nervous, you're always excited.
Okay.
That's how I like to think about it. So I'm very excited. With that being said, I am going to have to adjust this shoulder rest. It's a narrower base than what I'm normally used to.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
Oh, we need a boat.
I got one.
Okay.
Maybe so I can do that again.
It's probably already a little low.
It is.
Play it small. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got the color to it.
Yes, it does. And I do have to be careful with this because it is going to wear off really quickly on the sides.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, really nice tone. You can tell it's, I think it's that new violin thing. It's just, it's weird because it sounds loud and it is normal. It just sounds like it is like lymphatics just hasn't drained yet and a little stuffy.
Yeah.
But, and
It's
that's
a little
to be
bit-
expected.
This is a little bit velvety and a little bit muted for what it's going to be.
Yeah,
And
which
as
is
it
funny because
stretches,
we
the-
would not normally call that muted what I was just playing,
Yeah.
right?
But it's a little bit, it'll clear up a little bit as it ages. It'll get more focused and louder.
Yep.
And more collected.
Yep.
More collected. It looks like the neck is good.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice the
I
thing with
didn't-
the neck.
Pick anything up to change.
Yeah, it didn't even cross my mind, which is a good thing.
Alright, so the last thing we do is stain the neck. And I'd ask if anybody has any questions. If anybody's posting anything, Angie? No?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, one of the things that somebody asked when we first started this instrument was how much wood do you remove? So I carefully saved all the wood
I'll let you do that.
so that we could weigh it and compare.
I'm going to trade places with Sully really quick on that one so he can sort of take over. Oh, by the way, this is Jennifer's assistant, Sully.
Yes.
Jennifer's assistant, Sully, and
Sullivan Gavos, and he's
Yes.
starting a violin. He's got the joint
I,
made, and he's got the ribs bent, and he's doing his form, and he's going to make his first violin here.
And one of the first things that she had him do on his first day, I was really surprised and pleased to hear that today, was she had Sully make
Make the soundpost material.
soundpost material, and it was so good on that first day. Was that one of those ones where it was like a beginner's luck? Like what? Where did that come
No,
from?
he had to work at it.
Okay.
This was a practice thing, and practice learning how to plane and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
It
it
took
was
a
good.
square piece of wood, and he rounded it, and that's what I used for the post material.
So yeah, I have. Huh?
There's a question.
Ooh, what is the question?
What type of
is curly maple, back, ribs, and scroll, and spruce for the top. And then the trimmings are rosewood, maple for the bridge. This is ebony. And that's traditional wood for making an instrument. So you can see I'm going to stain the neck here. But you can see the pile of shavings we got there. And we took 2 boxes, and I've got all the shavings that came off of Will's violin here. And then in this other box is a set of wood for a violin. And you've got top, back, scroll. This is the scroll. And this is the fingerboard. And a bag of trimmings, the rosewood trimmings, the same as what I used on his violin. And then I used a top like this because actually I used a piece of wood that was already brought to this point. Mm-hmm. And that actually made a difference of a pound. Wow. That from taking it from the rough wood over there, that's the rough wood, to this point, it was about a pound. I was surprised at how much that weighed. So.
So I think this is going to be a good question for the people that we have watching, was how you got to the color of this wood. So I know that the direction I kind of gave you, I was always a fan of what I called blonde color violins. I'm pretty sure I totally made that name up.
No, that's a good term.
Yeah.
Blonde.
So yeah, but yeah, we don't actually have any truly blonde ones in here. But it's just like a nice faded, almost a grayish brown type of a color, I would say. Quite light, not very dark at all. And so I kind of wanted to go for a blonde, but I'm really liking how this color turned out so much. And in fact, I wouldn't have it any other way. So it's just such a pretty color. So what did you have to do to get it to... how did you choose those?
I just didn't add a lot of red color to it. And pretty simple, really. I just, decided what color to make it and went with that.
So is there just like, because I have no idea how varnishes are done.
Well, that's
so far.
something that my dad and grandfather said, we don't discuss our varnish.
I'm not saying you're a recipe, but in general, are there like tints that you add to the varnish? Is that what it is?
Don't discuss our varnish.
We do not discuss the varnish.
Yes.
So we have another question. Where did the Falcon's name come from?
Well, it's when we were talking about tone and that sort of thing, I got an idea of an eagle, and then Will says he likes...
I prefer falcons over eagles. So peregrine falcon's my favorite bird, and when we were talking about tone and what I need the instrument to do, the key word that Jennifer came up with was soaring and seeing it over the mountains tops like an eagle. And I'm like, well, if we're going to start talking about animals and birds in particular, what about a falcon, a peregrine falcon? And then she liked that because falcons are known for their ability to dive and turn on a dime, and that's basically kind of what I need. I need a highly responsive instrument, and I consider myself to be a very brilliant player anyway, in the sense of it's really easy for me to create a very highly projected tone on the upper registers, and a lot of violins are designed to help people who can't naturally bring that out. And it's just, I never have that problem. So if you put me on an instrument that already has a bright E, it just screams, like pounds through my head, and it's not very enjoyable to play. So I'm like, I don't need any help there because I can do that on my own. So this is just such a nice compliment to what my playing style is, to where me and this instrument together create that soaring sound that's really pleasant to listen to.
And then we have another question
Yeah.
for Jennifer. Why are you just staining the neck now?
That's the last thing I do. I make sure that the neck is the right shape. And in fact, if Will plays this for a while and finds that maybe it's a little too big or whatever, that can be shaved down and I can redo it. So that's always the last thing I do. There you are.
Yay!
Congratulations.
The beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Falcon. Yay.
Thank you all for tuning in. And I have to say, and this has to go on record, will you allow other people to play this? Because it's going to be here for
Yeah.
a month.
So I want people to play this. So if you are a violinist, if you know any violinists, especially in the Minneapolis area, please play this. Play it in. Also, if you are interested in a violin, I highly recommend, please talk to her about making one for you. The process has been so enjoyable. She does fantastic, beautiful work, and you can't go wrong. So try my instrument out. She also has her emerald violin here as well for you to play. Do you still have your number 12?
No, that's sold.
Oh.
It's gone.
Well, she had her number 12 here for a while, and that's sold. So get them while you can. Commission them while you can. But yeah, there are two. These are arguably her two most unique violins that she's made to date. So yeah.
It was fun. I really enjoy doing this. This is
See,
what I do
that's
it
why
for.
you do it.
Yep.
So
I'm
yes,
doing this.
please try it. It'll be here for about a month. I'm going to pick it up on the 21st of January, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Very
Thank
good.
you all for tuning in. Thank you.
Bye.